Well, welcome back into the Tim Rumler podcast, where we spotlight mid-Michigan and Lansing area businesses that are doing really great things, whether it be a startup, whether it be an established business, uh, focusing on real estate and otherwise, but really putting that spotlight on those businesses that are doing great things, and also in their community as well. Today's guest is Jett Williamson. Jett owns Media Jett here in the Lansing area. Jett really came to my interest level this summer when I really came across a lot of the good real estate content that he was doing and content for other businesses and projects that he's really dived into as a business and an ever growing business, I should say that. Jett, well, thanks for the program and welcome to the program.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. It's my pleasure.
As friends of mine say, get settled in, buckle up, and grab your popcorn because this is going to be a good one. So if you're
Yes,
interested
sir.
in getting media for your company or gathering information on how media can best suit their company, I think this is going to be an outstanding episode. So thanks again for coming on.
Absolutely.
So because I think this matters, as I always say in the beginning, I really like to get an idea of where somebody's coming from. Let's talk a little bit about young Jett, generalities at first, but then really kind of focusing on where that creative slash video slash photography interest came about. Talk to me about where did you grow up, siblings, what did your parents do? If you can tell me a little bit about that.
Absolutely. We'll start with what my parents did. So my dad, he works at GM, 40 some years he's been doing that.
Mhm.
My mom was a flight attendant. So my name Jett, that's kind of how she got that name. Gav, I have four older siblings, two are half. The two that are closest to me, blood related, that would be Slade and Chase. Again, kind of crazy names. They kind of wanted to be creative with it.
Yeah.
Fun stuff like that. I got on my dad's side, there's Zane, and then Tussa. So awesome people. Zane does coding, like not web designing, almost like game development, anything that involves like computers and like coding. So like super complicated stuff that I cannot learn. uh,
Me either, Jett.
right. My sister Tussa, she's awesome. She lives in Colorado.
Mhm.
But yeah, good stuff like that. I have an awesome family, so that definitely helped kind of build me to the person I am today. It all started at the skate park for sure. So I was definitely a
Nice.
skate park kind of kid. So I tried skateboards, I rode bikes, I even rode scooters. For you guys who don't know what scooters are, like look up freestyle scooters.
Razors and otherwise. I get it.
Yeah, for sure. Like I had a scooter setup that was like $500. Like they make some beefy stuff for it. So, doing all the tricks with that stuff. And one of my buddies, he actually did video edits for everyone at the skate park and mainly on like BMX, like for like BMX stuff. I'm like, hey man, you should make me like a scooter video. And he did. And
Nice.
I loved it. Like for some reason, the process was just super fun. I'm like, you know what? Like I'm gonna buy a camera too. What should I start with? His name was Rudy. So shout out to Rudy. He kind of helped me get my foot in the door when it comes to the camera stuff. So yeah, after that, I'm like, okay, cool. I got my own camera set up. I'm filming my buddies, doing their scooter tricks, and I'm making these like kind of unique edits, and I'm kind of scouring like YouTube, just like trying to find ideas how to make them better. My setup drastically changed. So I went from like a handheld setup to like this handheld like glide cam setup. The
Yep.
glide cam was basically one of these stabilizers, only manual. So these didn't exist at the time. We're talking probably 2013, 2014.
Right.
And so I'm trying to get the stable footage. So I got one of those glide cams or whatever, a knockoff one at first, of course. But everything I paid for myself, I just kind of stacked my money. Even like Christmases, if that counts, I'm like 12,
That
13. So,
counts.
Christmas has come around, I'm kind of saving the money I get. And I was able to kind of upgrade my setup again. After that, did some more videos. I probably made like $5 here, $10 here for probably just like 20 hours plus of work. So I was doing it solely because I loved it and I wasn't complaining. But then I'm like, okay, so I wonder, like, I always thought, like, I wonder if it's possible to make kind of like a living out of it. And then not too long after that thought, it was my mom that pointed out to me. She's like, hey, it's a distant family member, Sandy Bailey Bristol, a realtor in the Lansing area, and she was looking for a videographer for real estate. And I'm like, huh, like that sounds really interesting. because at the time I was also into like on the side, like video games, like open sandbox games, like Minecraft and stuff, to where like, you can just be super creative and like building like structures and houses. I always loved that stuff. So it's like, it almost complemented like the camera stuff with the house stuff. Cause like I love to see different houses, like
Awesome.
architecture and all that. But not to go too deep into that. I reached out to her, got my first gig. It was for Sandy. And yeah, it's been uphill since there. I loved it. The first shoot I did, it was absolutely like terrible. At the time, it was actually like decent work, but from where I came from, it's just night and day difference. Like I want to make a video so bad, just comparing my old work to my new work. Like it'd be great.
I
Um,
think somebody could do a whole YouTube channel or something like that on the old work 8 or 10 years ago of great creators nowadays and the early projects that they did. I think, you get a kick out of that. I know, like my son, and you were talking about Minecraft and otherwise, one thing that he did was he used to, play Call of Duty like a lot of kids did in the early 214, 215, and he would record, and
yeah.
he would edit and put music to it and do all that like a lot of kids did. So I think that's where a lot of kids get started, is combining that gaming or skateboarding or some love with the content in the beginning. Were you scared on your first gig? Were you kind of nervous on your first gig?
No, honestly, no. It was just all fun. I was actually thrilled. I'm like, wow, I'm like doing my own thing. Like that's crazy. Like no one my age at the time had jobs, and I'm over here just like doing my own thing. I'm like, wow. But I will say this, a lot of responsibility came with it. So, my first kind of like 2, 3 years doing it, it
Yeah,
wasn't Media Jet at the time. It was labeled under a different brand, a different LLC. And I'm like, okay, like I love what I do. I still loved it. But the thing is, I was still maturing. I was still a kid. So
sure.
I always thought I was the best of the best for whatever reason. I'm like, cause it's like you're comparing it's like sports. If you're the best in the school, you're not going to be the best in the whole states, you
Right,
know?
right.
Sorry about the phone.
Oh, it's all right. That's
Same
fine.
thing with my media work, you know?
Yeah,
It's like, oh, I thought I was the best because I'm in this small town hole and I'm in a school that no one's working right now. So it kind of like built up my pride to that point where it's like I don't need to improve, you know? And I
sure.
didn't see this till after the fact. So that business kind of failed and I actually did my own thing for like a year or two, doing like painting work, doing
Yeah,
marketing work for my brother on the side. And I'm just like, man, I'm not 100% happy with this. Like I wonder what I should do. And like immediately I'm just like, I'm going to go back to the real estate stuff because I really enjoyed that. This time I'm
yeah.
going to double down on it, do it right, and just kind of like learn the ways, just like keep expanding the knowledge. So it's almost like, entrepreneurship, it's trial and error. Like you're going to hit roadblocks, like you have to learn stuff. And that was one of my biggest lessons, like right out the gate was like, if you don't constantly learn and evolve yourself in the business, you are going to fail very fast, 100%.
A failure is just another way to learn.
Absolutely, exactly. So like I learned from it. It simply wasn't a failure in my eyes. It was definitely a learning experience for sure. So
Bingo.
I'm glad I
All
experienced
about the
it.
way you frame it, Jet. It's all about the way
Exactly,
you frame it.
exactly.
So
Absolutely.
everybody who is successful in their field typically owes some mentor or mentors along the way. Whether it be somebody who was in the business, who was on top of the content game, or somebody who just had that always that in your ear saying you can do this, you can do this. Who were some people that were really in your corner in the beginning?
Absolutely. Good question. I like that one. I would say definitely more than one person for sure. So I would say number one, my parents for sure, because like Slade, Chase, and myself. So my two older brothers, we're all like entrepreneurs. Like we all have our own LLCs right now, or we all have our own business. We're doing our own thing.
Nice.
And our parents were very, very supportive of that. I know a lot of parents would be like, nope, you need to go to college, you need to do this. I did terrible in high school. College was never a thought of mine. I knew I wasn't going to college by the time I was 14. I was like, nope, it's not for me. I kind of know what I want to do. Um, yeah, that's ultimately where that came from. So definitely big thanks to my parents, 100%. They were a big support. They never once were like, you should do this instead. Oh, what about this? They were always kind of like, they saw the passion. They just trust you right away. They're like, okay, do your best at it. So definitely shout out to them. Another one, definitely Sandy Bailey Bristol. So she was my first client and she also kind of built me up. She would point stuff out here and there, like, hey, like improve on that. Like, so that definitely helped a lot. including all the agents that I worked with that were like, hey, like, what about this? That pointed stuff out versus, not saying anything, because it's always a learning experience, especially when
Did
you're getting
Sandy
started.
provide you any referrals?
Oh, a ton. Absolutely. I owe a lot to her for that as well.
Nice.
Thank you for mentioning.
Yeah.
So it was definitely a big part in the beginning, getting all those connections. Cause
Yeah.
even after stopping it for a while, coming back
Business.
with Media Jet, I was able to kind of go back to those connections. So
Mhm.
even to this day, I definitely owe her thanks for that. Another one as well, I would say Bruce Carpenter of Home Dation Realty. He has been an awesome help. We're actually in Home Dation Realty right now. We kind of do some work together as far as the marketing stuff and all that. And then I have my own little office area over here, about a couple minutes away from the apartment. So it works out great. And again, he's been a big help with referrals, giving me lots of work from the beginning. So shout out to him as well.
So, first of all, how old are you, Jet?
I am 22 years old.
Okay. So let me ask you this, and it was not a question that I was going to originally ask you, but let's talk about that idea of not going off to college. I hope you look very well adapted, very successful at a young age. What are your thoughts there? And it's a unique perspective. It's because it's easy for me at my age to talk to all these adults who have kids and this and that. But what's your perspective on that? Whether you want to be an electrician, whether you want to be a content creator, whether you want to be a plumber, what if you want to own your LLC in those trades or otherwise? Do you think there's that pressure for kids to still go to college for sure, or does it depend on the family you come from?
Um, I would say, do you want to elaborate that one more time for
Well,
me,
what I'm
please?
saying to you is, do you think there's that undue pressure from the general public or from friends or from people outside your family or for other people outside their families to that they have to go to college? You won't be a success unless you go to college. Is that still out there even amongst your group, or is it pretty much accepted that you can do your own thing and still become a success? Is what I'm
Okay,
trying to say.
gotcha. Yeah, great question. I would say, when it comes to, I would say mainly like the parents of our generation is more so like, hey, like do college, which I understand because like from the
Yeah.
generation my parents came from, it's like college was really the only option. Like that's how you got a good job, a good paying career, reliable, you
Yeah.
got good insurance. So 100% understand it. Nowadays it's a changing world. Ever since like the smartphone was invented, like it was just dominoes that came piling down, the whole entire world changed. So you can make six figures a year with just your phone if you know what to
100%.
do. Like you said earlier, the video games and screen recording. If you're familiar with the YouTuber Mr. Beast, he's one of the
Yep.
most wealthiest
Yeah.
YouTubers, and he started with
Hey, I
doing
may be
computer
old, but
games.
I know who Mr. Beast is. All right.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
know
He's a
my
genius.
content.
Absolutely, absolute genius. So like right there, it's like that's all like the proof in the pudding, like it's just everyone's doing it, whether it's gaming, whether it's like e-commerce stuff you want to do, even if it's like, oh, if your passion is gardening, you can make a YouTube channel about gardening, make some products, sell it, capitalize on it, sell merchandise. Like honestly, in this world, like it's not cliche anymore to say like if you want to do it, you can do it and make money with it, make a living out of
100%.
it. As far as like online, like our influences, it's definitely like anti-college. Like, oh, you don't need college.
Nope.
I'm actually in the middle. So, and why I say that is because if you want to be a doctor, you're gonna need college. It,
Yeah.
it, it all
Yeah.
depends on your passion. If you want to be an electrician, like you're probably gonna need some college. So,
Yeah.
it definitely depends on what path you want to go with because owning your own business is definitely not for everyone. I don't think there's anything like too special about it. I think it's just another path you can choose. And it's like, if you
Yeah.
can handle being a realtor, if you can handle managing like your own like small business, if you can manage opening a restaurant, like, and that's your passion, like do it 100%. Um, like say your passion's cooking food, it's like you can cook food and be a professional chef and make upwards of six figures. Or if you're up for it, you can make your own business. You're start out as a side hustle, make a food truck. Like it takes a lot more work, but I feel like at the end of the day, it's more rewarding for sure.
Yep.
But it all depends on like what path everyone wants to go.
First of all, you're blessed. You're blessed that you had a family that backed you that way. I think you know that. You seem very
Oh yeah.
astute to that because not everybody would have that backing. So you are blessed in that. And you're blessed in the fact that you have that passion for this. I don't ever probably see that waning in you, that you are able to do daily from the time you get up in the morning, and as I said before we started this, you are a hustler. From the time you get up in the morning to the time you go to bed at night, you're doing what you love. You're doing what you love. You don't have to, do what is the expectations, if you will, of society, and that's not always the case. Whether it be the family or whether it be a career choice that an individual has, there's sometimes that undue pressure. So to do what you love, Jett, ride as long as you can. So for
Absolutely.
sure. Talk about the first. You did a little bit. Talk about the beginnings, the equipment you had. Was it pretty raw? Was it pretty crude? The equipment, or did you know that at least maybe you had some raw equipment for a while, but you knew you had to spend money to make money.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely realized by a young age that if you do want to do videos, you can definitely work your way up. So it's not like you need money to make money, but you
Yep.
got to spend money to keep making money. So in
Yep.
terms of that, like on my phone, we would
Hmm.
film each other clips at the skate park.
Hmm.
But then it got to the point of like, oh, I like the video stuff. Like I want to take it serious. That's when I made the leap of like, okay, I'm gonna buy my own camera.
Yeah.
That setup is hard to tell. It was probably like a $200 setup max, like with the little grip I had with the camcorder. Um, it wasn't a DSLR. It was like one of those little like vertical, like it looks like a hot dog shape, like a little camcorder. So
Yep.
that's kind of what I
Yep.
started on.
Yep.
So I had a little setup like that, and then yeah, like you said, you gotta spend money to make money. Sorry. So I initially upgraded from that to the next setup, which was a T5i, a Canon T5i. I think going from that setup to the T5i, probably spent around 500, $800 maybe.
Yeah. Are you constantly looking through marketplace or otherwise trying to find equipment?
Oh yeah,
I mean, cheap. I mean, you can always do it. You know as well as I do. There's some great photography equipment that's out there, and video equipment. You know.
absolutely. You got that right. Just earlier this year I picked up a few of the Phantom 4 drones. A few total, spread out kind of a midst of like a few months. But yeah, I got three. Was it? It might have been four. Okay, yeah, it was four. I kept one of them for a backup drone. But out of that three, I was able to buy it and sell it. One of them I doubled my money on. I got it for 400, sold it for 800 the next day.
Holy smokes!
So it's kind of
Nice.
like a side hustle too. Like you said, like I'm always on marketplace looking whether it's something I can like use to my advantage with the brand.
Yeah.
For example, like this big flash right here, like
Yeah.
I looked on marketplace for a while to get one of these, but I had to go online with it. But money well spent for sure. Always
Love that.
upgrading, always seeing what's next for the arsenal, you know.
Love that. Jett, in your as a content creator, a lot of them, get right to it, go to YouTube University or otherwise to teach themselves.
Right.
Were you for the most part self-taught along the way?
I would say, yeah, probably like 90% self-taught. The other 10% is probably like in the beginning of the day, maybe like my buddy showing me like how to click record, click
Yeah.
stop on it, like
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, everything else, I never used like oh, well, yeah, YouTube videos, just Google search, you find that's the only bad part about kind of getting your information online. You kind of have to like sort through what's good and what's bad. And like
Yeah.
you'd see some tutorial videos where like I'm going to show you how to shoot and edit real estate photos, and then I scroll to the end of the video before I waste my time on it. What's their finished product look like? So
Yep.
I did that until I found a few YouTubers who were very good at it, and those are YouTubers that I followed religiously and just kind of soaked up like just hundreds of hours of just how-to videos. And then I just be holding my camera on the spot too, and just like kind of going through the settings with them, doing all that stuff. So definitely lots of trial and error learning. I definitely watch a lot of videos, go out in the field, kind of put towards what I learned and all that. So definitely hands-on learner overall.
I'd say probably, and it may not have been for you, isn't editing a lot of times. I mean, people can go out and vlog and take video and take pictures and everything, and even run the drone, but isn't editing where it's all at as far as a content creator?
I would say it's like 50-50. So half of I always like make jokes. It's not really jokes, it's for real. It's like after a shoot, they're like, "Oh, thank you so much for your time." Like I'm like, all right, now time to do the other half of the job. Everyone's laughing, but it's like, some people don't realize the editing portion is actually like the other half of the job.
100%.
Like I've done shoots in Grand Rapids. One day I did a few in Grand Rapids, came back, got home like probably like 8 p.m., 9 p.m. And I had 3 videos to edit. I edited all of them throughout the night, just straight through. So just to get it the next day guarantee. So
Yep, for sure.
gotta
So,
do what
all
you
right,
gotta do.
let's get right into the business here. When did you decide to take the leap into MediaJet? Go off on your own, and now, and also talk a little bit about how big is your crew? How big is it? Just a one man show, or talk to me a little bit about anybody that you employ with inside your business, and why did you start that business?
Absolutely. So, I'll start with the why. Why did I start the business? I think I answered it kind of a little bit earlier about kind of like going back to the real estate stuff. I'm like, yeah, this other stuff isn't cutting at the $10 to $25 an hour. I'm
Yep.
like, nah, and I don't even really enjoy it. It's never been about the money. I'm like, I'm all about like enjoyment, love the process. I'm like, if I'm not loving what I'm doing, I don't want to do it. So, initially, that's kind of what made me make the jump back to the real estate media. So in all reality, total, I probably have about 7 years experience for the real estate media stuff. Terrible with numbers, could be wrong or right, but it's about 7 years total. Um, but getting a media jet, let's see. So we're gonna go with so that's that. What was the other question? Sorry.
Well, no, you're fine. Why did you decide to um, instead of just working independently on your own? Why did you always want to open your own business? Is what I'm getting at.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I've always been like an entrepreneurial mindset. Definitely have a crew together. So far it's about 6 recruits right now.
Okay.
Some of which who are still training right now. The training process is like very strict with the business. You want to make sure
Good.
everyone is up to par to keep the content consistent along the lines. I know with some of the competitors, stuff like that. Our fellow content creators, other businesses, few in the area. Some of the complaints some realtors have is just the consistency. So that's always been like a big thing I try to stay focused on because they'll say, oh, like I just switched from blah, blah, blah. And I always ask them why. Because, the last thing I want to do is make the same mistakes.
Right.
Which do happen. And most of the time, the answer would be the consistency. Like, depending on what photographer's out there, is going to look different. I'm like, man, okay. So I need to really make sure if I'm going to spread this business wide open across the nation, that I'm going to make sure it's going to stay consistent and make sure the training process is, very strict and make sure everyone is ready for it before they go out in the field. Because it's not really like a money making scheme. It's really just like we're going to grow the business and we're going to provide value to as many agents as we can.
Love it.
Earlier, I talked about my passion for the business and not only the business, but what I'm doing in the business. I'm always
Right.
shooting houses. I love it. I'm not the only one with that passion. So growing the business, I definitely want to open up that opportunity to a lot of photographers, videographers, content creators overall. And doing that makes me feel very happy because not everyone wants to run their own business, but they want to do what they love to do. Um, and yeah, so it's been going good. All the recruits love what they do. It's awesome having kind of like a team like that around.
What is Go ahead and list some of the actual specific services you provide, Jet, so we can get that in there.
Absolutely. So it'll be listing photos, start out with that. So you're going to get interior, exterior photos. Aerial, we offer aerial. Everyone on the team shooting aerial is FAA Part 107 certified. So that's definitely a big deal. We also offer signature video tours. I always put emphasis on the signature just because these video tours are not like anyone else's. You'll just have to check them out to kind of know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's always something I like to stand behind. So we're also going to offer, or we still offer let's see. So we went over photos, videos.
Yep.
We offer floor plans,
Yep.
2D standard. I'm sure you guys have seen those before.
Mhm.
We also offer 3D floor plans as well. So we'll have some samples up on the site soon. It's kind of a new service we just started not too long ago. So I'm really excited about that one. We also offer the real tours. A lot of agents don't know what the real tours are yet, but that's okay. They're very new to the market. If you've ever seen like videos like going through a house, like a video tour, and it's vertically shot,
Yeah.
chances are it's a real tour. So it's just basically the smartphone on
Yep.
a little little mobile gimbal.
Yep.
But it's a powerful tool for sure in the right hands. And we make very nice reel tours that get really good engagement. And that would be some value I'd like to give to not only yourself, but just everyone watching this, is that reels, not even the reel tours, but just posting reels is probably the best thing you can do for your brand right now. Because of the the algorithm right now. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Yep,
100%.
algorithm's crazy.
And I want to get into that because I love talking about that. But whether it be TikTok, Reels, Shorts, people don't understand. I'm telling you, man, that's where it's at right now. Because if you can really narrow in on the niche there and as to what area, what geographic area, and the types of homes and otherwise, man, I'll tell you what, it can bolster your business in a second. So
Absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely. Oh, it is worth mentioning the full packages too. So the full packages, the thing about making the business is that I wanted to stand out furthermost from everyone else. And I noticed with a lot of the competitors, if you want a video tour, which is pretty critical to your listing, I think that all
exactly.
listings, probably like 98% of listings, deserve a video tour, it's going to help marketing a lot. Listing photos, obviously definitely a need, but if you wanted listing photos, drone photos, and video tour from competitors, it's going to cost a lot of money. So I'm
Yep.
like, okay, how can I make this just the best bang for the buck for the
Yeah.
realtors without undercutting myself or charging too much? So I decided to make these package deals. So for like one cost, you can get a full package, which includes a property website upon delivery. You're going to get branded content upon
Nice.
request. So if you're like, hey, Jett, here's my logo. I want on all the photos, put in the video. It comes with a marketing kit, and it's going to come with the video tour with drone video incorporated in it, inside photos, outside photos. And that's pretty much it. But it's just a lot in one big package for a great cost.
So you can create an actual URL for one property, include all that right within that website.
Yes, sir. Yep.
Man, that's magic to my ear. I'm
That's
writing.
awesome. The
I'm
property
writing that
sites look
down
very
right
nice
now.
too. Yeah, they look really nice. They're just super well laid out. They look sweet. So it's something that the agents I work with, they're sharing that link instead of the MLS, instead of like Zillow, or
Yeah.
instead of the like Remax or Keller Williams page. Like they're always kind of sharing that the media jet URL just because it looks so nice. It's mobile friendly, which is a big deal nowadays. 'Cause a lot of people are on their phones. So it's just nice overall.
Nice. Uh, you were talking about your love of architecture. What kind of projects do you find that you really get extra excited about going to? Give me an idea. Is it a commercial property? Is it a home in a really nice subdivision here in Lansing? Talk to me about what kind of properties really or projects really get you excited.
Absolutely. I like that question. So first, I'll say it doesn't even matter what the house is. If it's like a realtor there, or like the homeowner is super cool and you're just having a great conversation with them. I love that kind of stuff because I'm a
Yeah.
people person. I love meeting new people,
Yep.
having great conversations. Apart from that, I definitely get the most excited pulling up to a house and I see kind of like a mansion, and obviously I know this before going to the shoot, but doing big houses, $1 million and up, like I love that stuff too. That's some of my favorite projects for sure.
So do you look at that kind of as a challenge when you see that nice crib home? Do you kind of think of that as a challenge to you to really bring that project to life?
Oh
And
yeah.
whether it be through your skills, whether it be through the drone work, the video, you really want to tell that story of how great that place is.
Absolutely. It's never like stressful, like going to a big house, like, oh, I hope I don't mess it up. It's always like, I'm excited just to nail it. I'm excited to kind of focus on it, but it is a lot of focus too. You don't want to like get too excited. Oh, this is sweet. You still got to focus, still got a job to do. But no, ultimately it's just kind of like going with the flow. You know what you got to do. I've been doing it long enough where it's almost like just,
Love it.
like coded in my brain just to do it. Like on these like real estate photography groups, they're like, oh, I don't like it when I'm trying to fly the drone or take photos and the homeowner's like talking to me. And it's like, I love it. Like, yeah, I love, especially the drone, like sharing the drone with like homeowners, like just showing them like the whole process.
It's
You know,
almost
uh,
like muscle memory for you.
yeah, it was this one guy. He was probably older than 80, he was a veteran, super cool guy, super mellow. And he was just so amazed by the drone. Like, he loved it. And that probably made my day, made my
Yeah,
month. Like, it was probably my best experience with the job. I was like, wow,
awesome.
like, it's a
That's
great
awesome.
feeling for sure.
That's awesome. Let's talk a little bit about real estate media and specifically towards how real estate agents and brokers can take more advantage of it. Do you think that brokerages and agents are taking full advantage just as a gut yes or no, as much as they could? And I'm not talking about gathering business or getting paid and all that. I'm just talking about, are they themselves using social media as a generality as much as they possibly could?
Absolutely not. When you look at the average, obviously, like, a lot of realtors will agree. Like, I remember telling Bruce, a couple of years ago, I'm like, man, I saw this statistic about how many realtors were in Michigan, and I'm like, how is there enough houses like for everyone to do? How can they all make a living with it? And he's like, well, cut that number in half, because that's the amount of people basically kind of doing work and are actually like active with it. Because a
Yeah,
lot of people just
yeah,
have their license, then kind of do it on their side or maybe nothing at all. Because again, real estate, it's just like being an entrepreneur, pretty much same thing. Like, you have to go earn your business. You can't just become a realtor and, get all these jobs. So, already that's a big portion missing out on just a lot of the marketing stuff that they could be doing.
yeah,
And out of the other half, let's say, cut that in half, maybe even less than that. Not a lot of realtors are using professional photography. Definitely more than a year, 2, 3 to go. So like, they're
right.
definitely catching up on it. However, it's still an advantage to use professional photography for your listings, 100%. So you're gonna have an advantage over other listings that are, shot on the iPhone, crooked, the colors aren't right, they see themselves in the mirror, just bad stuff like that. That's a no-no, big no-no. I'd say video is the biggest one that everyone's lacking on for sure. So video is definitely a powerful tool that is definitely underestimated. The agents that I work with that book the full package, they're always booking the full package because they know the value in it. So definitely, and for how many people are offering, like, there's definitely other guys offering like high quality videos.
Yeah,
But for the most part, even the agents that are trying to utilize video, like, they're just not great at all. It's like,
yeah,
you gotta really hire someone that knows what they're doing.
for sure. If an agent wanted to ramp up, and I'll tell you, I've watched, and I know you know who they are. There's 5 to 8, 5 to 10 agents here in Lansing that do a really good job of posting things, whether it be Facebook, TikTok, or otherwise, LinkedIn, that they know what to post, they know how to frame it, and they're bringing value. And that's the number one rule. You got to bring value in your posts. And if
Absolutely.
you're not, you don't want to ask, you want to bring value. And it's as a couple of friends of mine, it's the long game. You want to play that long game. And if you play that
Yeah.
long game and you're bringing value, it'll come back. It'll
Yeah.
come back.
I like what you said about that. And the thing that agents need to realize too, I know you know this, value doesn't have to just be like facts, like, oh, here's some facts. I know a lot of agents are just posting facts and they do terrible. What you want to do is provide value still, but value doesn't have to be just facts. Value can be humor. So Mike Campbell, we did a video for one of his new listings a few months ago. But we're like, we got to put a twist on this to kind of make this video like funny. We want it to do good in the algorithm and pop out. And he mentioned something about jumping in the pool. I'm like, are you down to jump in the pool? He's like, yeah, I'll jump in the pool. So he's doing the video. We're doing the video outside. And he's like, all right, guys, you've seen the outside. Let's jump onto the inside. He jumps off the diving board into the pool, does a cannonball in like a nice suit. And like, that just went wild. So, stuff like that is providing your audience value.
The agents, anybody who's in a career and watches media, they know what content creators to watch, whether it be on Facebook, YouTube for sure. The realtors that I watch on there, they're always doing something unique to bring that attention. Not in a fake way, being their real selves, but they're not stiff. They're being their real selves, and they do those things that show people that they're human too. They not only just bring value, they're not lecturing. They're as you said, bringing that added extra funny twist or whatever it happens to be. As you said, that's gonna trigger that, not necessarily a viral, but it's going to trigger that algorithm in a positive way. So
Absolutely spot on. And I feel like a lot of agents can do this test on themselves to not even agents, but small business owners do this test. So what I would do is like this is actually what I do a lot of time to critic my own posts. So I'll say, okay, every time I make a post slash a video, social graphics, etc., I always think of what is the viewer going to think of this. You got to put yourself in someone else's shoes that's non-biased, because you could easily make a boring video saying like, oh, here's how the market is, and you could easily be like, that video is going to do good, I like it, just because it's you. You really got to separate
100%.
yourself and just say, okay, this is boring, or this
Yeah.
needs that, or this
Yeah.
needs to be shorter. So that's something I try to do a lot too, and you have to watch, like you said, like watch the creators that you like that are doing good and see
Yeah.
what they're doing, kind of pick and choose like what do you want to add and take advantage of to your own content creation.
Um, All right, so let's go a step further here. What do you think, in just kind of in a nutshell, if somebody was interested in ramping up their social media content, and let's say they didn't want to necessarily right away hire somebody as yourself, what are some very simple things? Again, bringing value. What are some simple things that they could do to at least put themselves on Facebook, put themselves on TikTok? What are some simple ideas that they could do as a realtor?
Good question. Absolutely. So I would say, start with making that Facebook business page. Not only that, you're going to want to make sure you have a personal Facebook page. Definitely get on Instagram for your business. So, for example, like Home Nation Realty or Campbell Home Sales,
Right.
something like that that's branded under you. So you're going to want to do that and post daily. If you're not posting once a day, you're falling behind from the rest, 100%.
Yeah.
One post a day, you're going to want to make sure it's a pretty decent post, but even if it's like a terrible post, like a post a day is still better than nothing. So
Right.
don't be afraid to like post something. Like if it's like on the line of like, oh, I don't think it's that good, like still post it, because a post is better than nothing.
Right.
You just want to kind of look at the analytics and make sure you're looking at what's doing good, what's not, and say, okay, I'm going to focus on those posts so you don't waste your time. And listing photos, like, yeah, if you're a new agent, you don't want to make that investment yet on professional photos and all that. What are some tips for that? So I would say, if you're going to shoot photos with your phone, it's got to have wide angle mode. So wide angle mode, if you're on an iPhone like this one, this is a
Yep.
13 Pro Max, you
Yep.
can just zoom out and boom, you're at wide view. So
Sure.
definitely, if you guys are going to use your phones, like at least do the wide angle view, especially starting out, it's going to help a lot.
Yep.
Next, you're going to want to make sure your verticals are straight. So a good way to tell this is to have the grid lines on and line up those grid lines with like a door frame, anything like that. You're
Yep.
going to want to make sure the verticals are nice and straight.
Yep.
Uh, don't sit up too high. Don't be too low. Kind of get that nice natural look. I see a lot of listing photos. I'm sure you've seen them as
I
well, where
have.
they're like up here facing down, and it's like that's a weird perspective. You don't want that. So kind of just do what looks natural. While you can get away with it. It's not like your listing will not sell if you use phone photos. It's just going to add more value using a pro. But
Yeah.
that's definitely some stuff agents can do to kind of ramp up the process. I would say make videos for Instagram and Facebook, post as reels, just of your face in front of your new listing. Say, hey guys, I'm
Yep.
so and so with so and so. This is my latest listing. Stay tuned. Like anything like that. I know being on camera can be like a fear to some agents, and I understand that. Like I was never like a camera person, like doing
Yeah.
the ads and all that. I was
Yeah.
always like the behind the camera guy. But trust me, guys, if you just dedicate an hour a day just to kind of practicing, you'll be solid in no time.
You just got to do it. You don't have to think about it. Just do it. You know,
Exactly.
as they say. Um, Let me ask you this. Always a question in our office that comes up. Do you need necessarily, as a realtor, I see a lot of realtors have their personal page and then they have a professional page. It may be Jane Doe, but then they also have Jane Doe hyphen blah 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 brokerage, the part of the blank team, whatever. You can like them. You don't have to friend them. You can just like them or send them a message. If an agent wants to just do all their posting on their personal page and they're geared their personal page towards business, maybe with sprinkle with a few personal things, family and otherwise, is that a bad idea, or do you think they should exclusively have that business page?
Um, Good question. So I would say there's no right or wrong way to do it. However, I think the best way to do it is definitely to still have that business page.
Okay.
The advantage there is you're going to get features that you wouldn't have on a personal page, such as the reviews. You're definitely going to want that. So you're going to have reviews on Facebook, and it gives you a place to schedule posts to. So my personal profile, I pretty
Yep.
much use it kind of how you described it, kind of like a personal branded profile. So all
Yeah.
I post about is pretty much real estate, then a little bit about, hey, here's what I'm doing on the weekend, you
Right.
know?
Right. Right.
Um, so yeah, I kind of use them both to my advantage. So I definitely and the thing is you cannot schedule post your personal profiles where I was getting at. And the business page you can schedule upwards of like a year out and post, just schedule
Okay.
them all out. Then you don't have to do anything. Like right now for Media Jet, I'm probably like 3 months ahead on posts. They're just gonna just post
Nice.
automatically.
I didn't know that. I honestly didn't know. I should have known that, but I didn't know that about posting or scheduling posts out.
Yeah.
Jett, where do you see Media Jet in the next, let's say, 3 to 4 years? Where would you like to be?
Um,
Home base still here, but maybe not necessarily franchising out, but maybe having other locations.
Yeah, so I'll still be here. I got to stay true to my roots for sure. You know, eventually I'm going to move to Florida. I got to dip because of the warm weather, you know. But no, I'll definitely be here for a long time for sure. But as far as the business, definitely going to scale it out slowly but
Yep.
surely.
Yep.
It's honestly not my like 100% goal to scale it outside of state ASAP. It's definitely kind of like as it goes, it's going to go with the flow.
Right.
Because again, like honestly, I could just dedicate all my time to scaling it out of the state right now. Sorry.
No.
And possibly make more money. But the thing is, I'm kind of enjoying the process, scaling it on a small scale right now, making these connections, meeting awesome content creators, and getting them going with stuff. So it's all a process for sure. I kind of want to take my time with it and just see where it goes ultimately. As long as I'm enjoying it every step of the way, you know.
All right. At the end of every interview, I always do rapid fire questions just for the audience to kind of get a different angle and get a little bit more personal side of Jett.
Yeah.
Uh, just quick hitters. And again, we're not going to be partial to anybody, but give me a favorite cuisine or favorite restaurant in the Lansing area that you really, whether it be by DoorDash or just going to or ordering. Give me a good restaurant that Jett really frequents.
I would say, well, when you said restaurant, I immediately thought Cheesecake Factory. I love it. But then you said Lansing, so I'm like, ooh, okay, okay. I would say Buddy's and Holt. I think that restaurant is very solid. Every time I'm hungry, I think of just getting the Southwest quesadilla from there.
Oh,
Super
nice.
good. Would highly recommend. Absolutely.
Nice, nice. Love that. Do you have a favorite business book that you like that you've come across that you like to read?
I would say Profit First. That was a good
Nice.
one.
Nice. Good one.
Thank you.
Favorite app or apps on your phone?
Good question. I would say just like favorite as far as like
It doesn't
enjoying
even
it.
have to be content related. It could just be something you like, whether it be TikTok or otherwise.
I would say Instagram, because on my phone, Instagram tends to be the social platform I'm on the most, making the most connections with my agent. So I enjoy that a lot.
Like that.
TikTok, I do like that app a lot, but it's like almost like a wormhole. When I'm working, I cannot be on TikTok because it's
Same.
one video after another. Like, oh crap, that was 30 minutes.
It's like going down a wormhole, man, because
Absolutely.
the algorithm is geared towards your interests and goes right down that wormhole.
Absolutely. 100%.
Favorite Michigan destination? If you were just to go for a drive or go overnight somewhere, where's a Michigan destination? It could be to the D, it could be up north. Tell me about somewhere you love to go.
I like going to Grand Haven a lot in the summer for sure. I also like up north for sure. Like even the UP, beautiful up there. Awesome. It's an awesome area.
If you weren't creating content, what would you be doing as a career?
If I wasn't creating content, something related
Architecture. I think
to,
architecture would have been because you love houses.
I don't think I could do architecture just because of the math involved. So I'm definitely the type to say, okay, if you put your mind to it, you can learn it. But
real
I don't
estate agent. You could have been a great real estate agent.
I know. I would never want to put my mind to like math problems and all that because I know with architecture there's a lot of math involved. So I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna do that. Ultimately, I would probably be doing like marketing for businesses, small businesses, and all that. I know
Mhm.
I'd have to create some content, but if
Yeah.
it wasn't for the real estate stuff, I'd probably be doing some of that.
Yep. Jett, it's been a pleasure having you on here. As I said before the interview, you came across my device organically this summer, and I'm looking forward to doing some business with you down the road. But you're hustling, man. You're killing it. You're
Thank you. I
absolutely
appreciate it,
killing
man.
it. Anybody who needs a great content manager group service business for their, not only just for their real estate business, for any business or project or otherwise, this man's killing it right here. So
Thank you.
Jett, where can folks find you on social media, phone, email, or otherwise that you want to share real quick? Easiest way to get a hold of you.
Absolutely. MediaJet.com. You can go there, see all of my work, see all the socials, and get on Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook. You'll see our YouTube as well on the top toolbar. And that is MediaJet. It'll be Jett. That's how I spell my
Oh
name. Common
man,
misconception.
love
um,
that. He
on
threw in the
Instagram.
shirt real quick.
Yep. Sometimes people will say, "Oh, your name's Jeff," and I'm like, no, it's Jett. It's like this. Facebook, just type in Media Jett. So Media Jett. You'll find us on Facebook. On
Yep.
Instagram, Media Jett was taken, so we had to go with Media Jett official on
Oh,
Instagram.
nice.
Twitter is media_Jett, I believe. I don't really use Twitter, so I didn't really see a lot of
Value.
engagement. I didn't see a lot of realtors in the area on there, so I kind of put that off to the side. But we are on Twitter if you do want to find us
Yep.
there.
Yep.
TikTok, we're going to be just at MediaJet, so
Okay.
simple and easy. And then Snapchat is MediaJet517.
Your phone number, email is all on the site, of course, correct?
Absolutely, yes, sir.
Been a pleasure. I will we'll be reaching out here soon. We'll chit chat more. You're killing it once again, brother. Keep it up, okay?
I appreciate it. Thank you for your time and having me a part of this.
It's been a pleasure. Enjoy your evening. We'll talk soon.
Likewise, have a good one, Tim.
All right, Jett. Bye bye.